Hello, IPA pilots. This is why I'm running for at-large. I'm going to get straight to it. In 2022, when we should have been leveraging the biggest revenue blowout ever recorded by the company in negotiations, we agreed to less than COLA raises in the middle of the worst inflation in 40 years, along with a retirement bump, while delaying our next contract signing out to past 2027 or 2028. A big win for the company. Today, we are at the bottom of the airline pilot industry in wide-body hourly pay, below even Hawaiian Airlines, which lost money in this last quarter. FedEx is estimated to have their new contract next year and will leap ahead of us to join Delta, American, and United. Looking at these charts, you can see how far we've fallen behind and how far we have to go to not only catch up, but once again regain our industry-leading status. We have a lot of ground to make up. And if this doesn't spur somebody to run, then we're going to get trampled on again by this $100 billion company. If you're outraged, as I am, that we are being browbeaten into inferior deals, then I ask for you to consider my campaign. For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Steinbeck. I'm a 747 captain and check airman based in Louisville since last October, and 15 years in Anchorage before that. I've been an IPA member since 1996, and I live in the Dallas, Texas metro area. Most of my 27 years here have been international flying, and I've flown all aircraft, minus the Airbus. I'm running for at-large representative this year because our union, and also the company, need to see changes in faces and ideas because we've fallen far behind our peers in the airline pilot industry in many areas. Here are my campaign pillars or my promises to you if you elect me. I'll be a tenacious advocate for our group as we develop bold positions and our contract openers next year. Our contract war footing must start now. A top pay package is a given with the company's $100 billion record revenues, while we are left behind without recognition of our outsized contribution. There will finally be international representation on the board from someone who experienced the lockdowns, fatiguing schedules, and constant schedule revisions. Just like Delta ALPA and Teamsters President Sean O'Brien proudly stated that their contracts had zero concessions, I will not vote for any TA with concessions. The days of allowing our company to run roughshod over us with little pushback will be over. Today our union is in need of fresh blood and fresh ideas and someone who is willing to advocate bold positions in our contract openers next year. Our next contract will be the biggest ever in our history. However, if we have the same team that negotiated 2 contract extensions as part of this process, the company knows that our playbook isn't going to change. The only way the company will get the message is to elect a fresh face, someone who has a history of being a change agent in different fields, from being the co-founder of APC to being an author, speaker, and coach on recovery from parental alienation child abuse. I've got more than 1.5 million video views on YouTube and Facebook. Elections are about ideas and making improvements. And unfortunately, this is the second IPA election in a year where a candidate offers you, the line pilot, no ideas and no vision for our group. My opponent, Derek, offers these statements. I'm not going to promise you the moon. I'm not going to guarantee that I'll get you everything you deserve from our benevolent employer. Now contrast that messaging to Teamsters President Sean O'Brien a few months ago.
Listen, we have 15 days before we go sit across the table from this white-collar crime syndicate known as United Parcel Service.
Now, I'm not suggesting we label a company a criminal organization, but the company only respects and responds to tough talk and actions in negotiations, as evidenced by Teamsters' contract that included not a single concession. I will be that tenacious, tough advocate we deserve. My major oversight in this position will be scheduling. As an international pilot most of my career here, I'll be the line pilot expert at the table when negotiating the many scheduling improvements needed in our next contract. As an executive board member, I will give my full support to the needs and ideas of the scheduling committee. As we start negotiations, we need to go back to the basics. Line and trip construction rules. The quality of our lines has deteriorated since the implementation of the Jeppesen crew planning software back in 2018. Let's take a look at our main competitor, FedEx. Over 90% of their flights operate one leg in and one leg out of their sorts. Internationally, their trips are much cleaner, with close to 1/3 of their lines a single port and a pay period. This should be our model when scheduling openers begin. Trip trades matter. The days of not being able to trade our trips like the rest of the industry will come to an end with a massive push from an executive board that prioritizes this issue. This is one of the biggest complaints I hear from all fleets and seats. Fatigue. We need real fatigue language similar to FedEx. At FedEx, ALPA's scheduling committee can remove disputed pairings on the lines. The company then places them into open time and labels them as disputed or fatiguing trips. If the trip remains in open time and is about to go to reserve pilot, the company is required to modify it before assigning it. This is what we deserve and should prioritize in the next contract as well. Today, we have language found in 13.0 that allows us to keep a trip from being placed on a line, but we don't use it. The last time we used 13.0 or threatened its use was way back in 2012. Our Fatigue Safety Action Group, FSAG, needs revamping and actually being able to fix fatiguing trips and showing the line pilots per fleet and domicile the original fatiguing trip and the new safer one created. It's time to be more transparent on this. I'll bring real improvements to scheduling in the next contract that'll make a difference with the trips we operate and lines you bid. Electing me sends a message to the company that scheduling matters just as much as compensation. This election is even more critical to have leadership with actual current international line experience who knows the grueling hardships that we are under without being adequately compensated. International flying is well over 50% of our flying, so international pilots and their needs will be directly represented at the table. This at-large position has another important job, representing the Miami domicile with official oversight. My message to the Miami pilots is this. My goal is to engage you with boots on the ground. I'll make an appearance every 6 months at a pub event to discuss your problems and take your suggestions, and I won't charge the union a dime for these meetups. I will find out your problematic pairings and fly along with you on them. I will jump seat on your worst all-night trips through Central and South America to see firsthand what you all endure. And I promise you that you'll be represented at the negotiating table. I won't just be another rubber stamp. See the amendment to the C&B I proposed to the executive board to fix this once and for all. If this passes, you and the other geographic domiciles will finally have real representation at our union. Now on to some other important issues that will be addressed if I'm elected as your next at-large representative. There are big strides being made to outsource our job with automation and AI. United pilots see this and have placed in their current AIP language that protects these jobs. This will be a critical portion of an enhanced scope agreement. Cargo flights will be the first to see flight crews go from 2 to a single pilot, and having this language will put the brakes on the company's attempts to buy such aircraft. Many pilots lost seniority rights because they didn't volunteer their private medical information to the company. In one example, over 50% of the FO bid lines in Anchorage were VAX only. This must never happen again, and I submit the following language be negotiated into our next contract. By the way, this is the language that United ALPA has in their agreement in principle being voted on right now. The company pays a contracted negotiator, super lawyer Tony Coleman, to negotiate for them. He's been in this role for over 30 years and was awarded the Kentucky super lawyer designation over 7 times. I propose that we also hire a contracted negotiations lawyer who has decades of experience litigating against Fortune 100 companies, a pit bull who's not afraid to aggressively take on the company at the bargaining table. If the company doesn't rely on their own general counsel but hires a contracted super lawyer, then we need to as well. With our $15+ million in dues paid every year, we should be getting the best of the best in negotiating our upcoming mega contract. A must-have in our next contract is a snap-up or Me Too clause to allow us to take part in industry pay rate gains. Not having a snap-up in our contract is costing us a lot of money in the next 3 to 6 years. The new industry standard is a snap-up plus 1%, and that should be a priority in the next contract. Profit sharing is also a huge part of the new contracts at the top of the industry, and that's my next focus. Profit sharing has taken hold amongst the big three, so it's time we also negotiate this into our next contract. Getting this is a very big deal. As a quick example, if Delta Airlines pays its pilots an estimated 10% in profit sharing next February, that effectively boosts their top A330 767-400 captain rate to $481 per hour, or 28% higher and over $100 higher than ours at $376. Sure, we have a solid A-plan benefit that they and the rest of the big three don't have, but I doubt if they had not lost theirs in bankruptcies that these numbers would be any different. It's long overdue. Open time and JA pay override should match the industry leaders. Open time paid at 150% and JA's paid at 200%. Cherry picking is exactly what will be required to get us back to industry leading. With our lagging in so many areas compared to other airlines, I suggest that we have a contract war room where we deep dive into the other contracts and formulate our bold contract openers. Then next year, provide to the iPay pilot group our contract openers. This full transparency will set the expectations bar high for our group and will be a strong message to the company that we mean business. After our company's blowout $100 billion revenue in 2022, we should have translated that leverage into starting to negotiate a lucrative contract for IPA crew members. However, the EB warned us back in March 2020 that exercising our leverage would be dangerous. But for the second extension, we would have been negotiating with the company already for 1 year. And without any extensions at all, we'd have an agreement by now or be just short of one. Our group Unity's main benefit is leveraging it into big contractual gains. We were in the best negotiating environment in 3 decades, and we ended up agreeing to less than cost of living wage gains with a retirement bump. GMM should be shared with the entire membership. Today, only 5% of our pilots see a presentation on a given roadshow through the US. There should be a public portion that is streamed live, bringing us all up to date on what's happening between our union and the company. I also advocate that all can volunteer on a union committee of their choice and that job openings be posted for all committee openings. Also, the IPA building should be open during business hours. Right now, it's locked down and fortified hard. Locked downstairs and a second locked upstairs door, once on the second floor. The IPA is your union run by your money. I will only vote for expenditures that give a clear, positive ROI. I promise to stay current and to fly 1 full pairing of at least 5 days each bid period. In summary, if you want a change agent, a board member who will be a counterweight and stand up to this company's strong-arm tactics and help bring industry-leading status back to our union, then vote for Steinbeck. As an outsider, I'll be able to link facts that those not flying the line cannot see, and I'll be a fresh set of eyes. I'll have the commitment and passion to demand industry-leading benefits for our crew members and to not accept a single concession going forward. I'll be in the office Monday through Friday while working with the EB, the IPA staff, and committee members to create the industry's best contract that we all deserve. I respectfully hope to earn your vote. And before you go, I'd like to share with you 2 endorsements.
Hi everybody, my name is Susanna Steinbeck. I am John Steinbeck's daughter, currently here in Madrid, Spain, and I'm just here to quickly tell you why I think my dad is the perfect candidate running for office in your union. So let's just start by saying that my dad truly is full of ideas. His creativity and anything he does is just so admirable. He just approaches life as a hard worker, and his work ethic has really gotten him to do amazing things, which I really look up to. And above all, he's so passionate about being a pilot and teaching. He's currently, for example, helping me also create a business. And I just think these qualities in him will serve your union for the very best. And I believe you should just convince yourselves. So bye, guys.